How's it going, super friends? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to continue on with our series where we look at the classic vintage Kenner Superpowers Collection action figures with the Green Lantern and the Green Arrow. Today we're going to start with the Green Lantern and his Power Action Ring Thrust. The front of the card looks the same as all the rest, blue, red, and yellow, with an image of Green Lantern. The bubble on the front of mine's a little bit mashed because it's 35 years old. Give it a break. While the back of the card has those fantastic instructions on how to use the figure simply by squeezing his legs. Because this is a Series 1 figure directly from 1984, the only figures that had been released at the time were Superman, Batman, Robin, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, Hawkman, Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, Brainiac, Joker, and the Penguin. Whew, that was a mouthful. And of course the only vehicles and playsets were the Hall of Justice, the Supermobile, Lexor 7, and the Batmobile. If you'd like to pause for just a moment to read his short little bio on the back, you can do that as well, but I think we all know exactly who Hal Jordan is. Here's Hal Jordan out of the package. What a fantastic looking figure, very classic, still to this day one of the best Hal Jordan looking figures in my opinion. He's so simple, so basic, but so accurate. And as far as I'm concerned, the sculpts of these Superpowers figures haven't been outdone yet to this day. Here's a close-up look at that fantastic Hal Jordan face sculpt, which for the time and even to this day still stands as one of the best, and it's entirely accurate to how he looked in the comic books of the day. Here's a close look at the power battery that Hal Jordan came with. If you can find these guys loose on eBay with the power battery, that's pretty much a miracle because we all lost our power batteries when we were 4, 5, and 6. For those of you who never owned these and have never seen Green Lantern's Power Action Punch, here's how it works. You squeezed his legs and he punched his little fist. Man, that sound just never gets old. That is a sound that is burned into my memory for all time. The sound of the little gears inside of his body working. Classic. Here's a little look at the mini comic, which admittedly I didn't actually open up a Green Lantern for this video because I had one that was already mint, but I did find actual clear high-res images of the comic for you to take a look at yourself, maybe even pause and be reading while I'm talking. That if not, then, well, let's move on to Green Arrow. With his Power Action Archery Pull. Green Lantern's packaging is in pretty darn good condition as far as this one goes. Unpunched card, never been hung on a peg. It has the free Clark Kent action figure ad, said 5 proofs of purchase seals from any 5 Kenner Superpowers products, your name, address, and zip code to free Clark Kent figure. Offer expires May 31st, 1986. He's a Series 2 figure, so just like the Series 1 figures, he came with the mini comic, which we will see later on in the video. On the back of his card art here, you can see not only all of the good guys that have been released, as well as the new ones from Series 2, and the bad guys with all the new ones from Series 2, along with Lord Darkseid. You got the 2 little boxes as usual, showing that you squeeze his legs to activate his action archery pull, along with some pictures of not only the Batmobile and the Supermobile, which have been released already, but the Darkseid Destroyer and the Delta Probe 1, which we will in fact be reviewing, unboxing later on this channel. And of course you've got your Green Arrow Emerald Archer bio that you can pause to read if you'd like to at this point in the video. And if not, of course, here is the Emerald Archer out of his package, looking so much like Robin Hood. Interesting factoid to note here is that Kenner did in fact use Green Arrow's body sculpt again, minus the head, with their Robin Hood Prince of Thieves action figure line. Look, you can see here, there's actually a G on his belt. Anyhow, the basic sculpt of this figure is definitely really fantastic. It looks simple and basic and comic accurate for the time, and just like the rest of them, it appears like he's jumped right off of the pages of the Superpowers comic book. The paint job on Green Arrow, for what it is, looks pretty darn fantastic as well. They got 3 tones of green, which make this figure pop. From the back, this figure looks equally as fantastically sculpted and painted as well, having room in the quiver that's been molded to his back to put 2 of the arrows that actually came in the package in the quiver. Here's a close-up look at Oliver Queen's face. It's hard to get this much fine detail painted neatly, that being with the hair, the hat, the feather, the domino mask, the mustache, the goatee, and they seem to have done a pretty banging job on the lot of it. Here's a look just at the Green Arrow's bow, and this is definitely an accessory that when you find him online loose, if he's got his bow, it's missing the string because the bow and string are actually separate pieces. The string just attaches to the bow with these little tiny balls on the end, and you've really got to be careful not to lose that string. Here's a close-up look at those 2 little arrows that Green Arrow comes with. For a long time, I didn't even know he came with 2, or that he actually even came with a bowstring for that matter, because this is all I would ever see, is 1 arrow inside the bow with no bowstring. And like I said, there is storage for Green Arrow's little arrows like this. I might actually buy some reproduction arrows to fill this right up so that he has a whole butt pile of arrows. Here's a look at Green Arrow's power action. He squeezes his legs and boom, he draws his bow. Mine's a little bit janky. You can hear it here clicking. Hear that? Mine's a little bit janky on the inside here. Let's see if I can try again and get him to really draw the boat. Come on, dude. Okay, well, this one's not working quite as well as I've seen others work. And of course, we're going to have a little peek at the mini comic here that Green Arrow came with. You could pause to read each page individually if you'd like to, just like with the Green Lantern, or not. It's entirely up to you. I still think it's very, very cool that they came with a mini comic in the first place. Now, as far as action figure comparisons goes, it's no secret that the DC Universe Classics was very largely inspired by the Superpowers collection. And in no way is it more prevalent than with the Green Arrow and the Green Lantern as seen here. I mean, obviously they're not exact copies. Mattel really did try to bring something more to the table with the actual look and the sculpts and the details of these figures, but you can definitely see that they were definitely absolutely influenced by Kenner Superpowers. And I also thought that bringing it in the DC Icons Green Lantern and Green Arrow would have been kind of an interesting comparison as well. Even though the DC Icons are definitely some of the smaller end 6-inch scale figures, they're still definitely much bigger than the Superpowers collection. And then finally, I thought it might be kind of fun to bring in some 7-inchers to compare to these figures. Admittedly, the Green Lantern is pretty much a complete custom. That's a Sinestro body, a Hal Jordan head, and I can't even remember where I got the lantern from. But I don't think that any of this actually goes together. I mean, it goes together. It looks fantastic, but it's a custom. And then we have the Green Arrow, probably one of my favorite DC Direct figures ever. Admittedly though, this is not the same bow that he comes with. This bow is actually from the DC Universe Classics. I snagged his bow and used it on a completely different figure. If you're wondering why I don't really bring in that many other Superpowers figures to compare these two, it's because I'd like to do a complete Wave 1 video and then a complete Wave 2 video, so I'm sort of saving it for that. Anyway, Super Friends, if you can find these guys on eBay for a reasonable price, which is still going to be really, really expensive, I warn you, save your pennies in the swear jar, then absolutely pick these guys up because they're a piece of DC history. They're two of the best Green Lantern and Green Arrow action figures ever produced, arguably so. If not, then you can just live vicariously through my Superpowers videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a DC day, everybody, and thanks for watching.